In the land of Ashina, where the snow-capped mountains bleed into blood-red maples, an age of war was drawing to a bloody close. The country withered, besieged from within and without. In this era of strife, a lone shinobi known as Wolf walked a path of duty, bound by an oath more sacred than life itself. His charge was Kuro, the Divine Heir, a boy no older than a dozen summers, yet he carried the ancient burden of the dragon's heritage, the curse of immortality. It was a power many coveted, a power that could turn the tide of any war, and a power that had brought nothing but suffering to the boy. Their peace was shattered by the arrival of a man driven by desperate ambition, Genichiro, Lord of Ashina. Clad in samurai armor, he stood before them, his eyes burning with a fanatic's zeal. "The Divine Heir's blood will save this land," he declared, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. "I will not be denied." Wolf drew his blade without hesitation. The iron code was absolute: protect the master. Steel clashed against steel in a blur of motion. Wolf was a master of his craft, a phantom of lethal grace, but Genichiro fought with the ferocity of a cornered animal, his skill undeniable. In a flash of treachery, Genichiro broke the rules of the duel. He seized the opening, and his greatsword swung true. With a sickening crunch, it took Wolf's left arm. As darkness claimed him, the last thing Wolf saw was Genichiro carrying his young master away. Wolf awoke to the smell of incense and old wood. He was in a dilapidated temple, the home of a gnarled old man known only as the sculptor. Where his arm had been, there was now a marvel of wood, rope, and steel, the shinobi prosthetic. "A tool for a one-armed wolf," the sculptor rasped, his voice like grinding stone. "That arm is a weapon," the sculptor continued, never looking up from his work. "It can be fitted with an axe, a spear, a shield, but beware. All the killing carves a man up inside. It turns him into a demon." He pointed a chisel toward the path outside. "Your lord awaits. Go." With a new purpose forged in failure and loss, Wolf stood. The prosthetic was cold and unfamiliar, but it held the promise of retribution. He stepped out of the temple and into the dying light of Ashina. The path to the castle was long and guarded by an army. His quest had begun. The lands of Ashina were crawling with desperate men and twisted creatures. Samurai driven mad by the promise of power, grotesque beasts born of dark experiments, and shinobi who had abandoned their code. Each one was a challenge, a bloody step on the long road back to his master. From a high cliff, Wolf gazed upon Ashina Castle, a dark silhouette against the moon. It was there his lord was held captive. It was there he would face Genichiro again. He was Sekiro, the one-armed wolf, and he would carve a path through any who stood in his way. The shadows would run red before his duty was done.